He was one half of the Detroit morning radio ratings phenomenon known as the Drew and Mike Show.
Then suddenly last month, Drew Lane stunned his fans by announcing he was quitting Drew and Mike. Well, tonight in his first television interview since that bombshell, Drew is telling our Bill Spencer what happened. Bill?
Steve, Diana, when it comes to fans, Drew and Mike own the Detroit radio market, winning the ratings wars with men and women across the board every book for the past 5 years. They were simply magic.
Drew and Mike on the WRIF.
Did you hear about this? Matt LeBlanc's limo driver.
For 16 years, they ruled as kings of Detroit morning rock and roll radio.
Oh, man.
Drew and Mike, just two regular guys talking 4 hours a day about chicks.
She's in a black bathing suit.
About sports.
And then the Yankees with Kevin Brown.
And about sex.
The sexually related items that we discussed, which was probably 5%, 10%, I mean, at the most 15 to 20, and 80, I don't know.
And then suddenly the laughter stopped at the pinnacle of their popularity. Having won the Radio and Records Award for Best Morning Radio Team in the country 3 years in a row, Drew suddenly quit WRIF Radio, and some have argued, quit his friend Mike Clark.
This is important, too. I didn't resign to Mike. I didn't say, Mike, I'm resigning from the show. I resigned to the president of the company.
Oh, yeah. The big question is why?
I can still catch, and I can still throw.
Why would Drew Lane, former college sports stud, the big swinging Virginia Tech baseball player, a guy used to scoring home runs on the field and constantly winning the ratings wars on Detroit morning radio, leave the winning team he himself created? What happened at the end? Why did the partnership between you and Mike break up?
Well, you know, it's really simple. I wanted to work afternoons. I wanted to change the dynamic of, you know, instead of being shot at by 50 stations who are trying to knock you off the top, I thought, wouldn't it be better to go to the afternoons, have a more normal lifestyle? You know, I was exhausted. I thought everyone else was exhausted too. And it wasn't that I wanted to leave. I wanted the whole show to go to afternoons. But they didn't want to go. That's Mike Walters. That's me with the megaphone. Mark Fellhauer, Trudy.
The problem, Drew says, is that the rest of his team and WRIF radio management wanted the #1 rated Drew and Mike show to stay on in the morning.
How many times did you have to pose like that?
Not just once or twice. Relax.
Drew says he originally left to temporarily care for his fiancée, Tess, who was battling breast cancer, but in the process began reevaluating his entire life.
So Mike and I did the Titanic pose.
And he decided he'd had enough of getting up at 3 in the morning to do Drew and Mike. For 16 years, you're Drew and Mike, and everybody loves you. Now it is over. Are you still friends with Mike, and would you still go back to work with him at some time in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. We are friends. You know what's funny is when things end badly, and in this case they did, and it was really, I'm stunned by the amount of bad communication there is in the communications industry, but there really was some bad communication. I think within a couple of days, we were on the same page again, and we've been talking more since than we probably did off the air in years. This is a Beatles ticket from Shea Stadium.
So now, Drew, a self-confessed Beatles John Lennon fanatic, like Lennon himself, is leaving one incredibly successful venture to start a new one. What is next for you? Do you plan to stay in Detroit or move away?
No, I think I will be here, and if I have my way, we'll be building a studio behind that office back there, and we'll be broadcasting from a studio in this house.
And just who does Drew plan to team up with next?
Mr. Skin, who's out of Chicago. I think you know what he does.
I can guess. None other than the controversial Mr. Skin, once a regular guest on the Drew and Mike show and the creator of a website that specializes in guiding men to movies that showcase scantily clad Hollywood actresses.
He's a history major in college. He's a sports junkie. I always thought we had great chemistry when he was a guest.
As for what station Drew and Skin will be moving to, Drew won't say just yet.
But he looks like a chick throwing a baseball.
For now, he's planning the new show, relaxing and taking care of his beloved Tess, and thanking those loyal fans who for 16 years have brought him so much.
You made me. You created this monster, and, you know, thank you.
He is just a fantastic guy. As for when Drew will return to Detroit radio, he says he's shooting for February 2009 with Mr. Skin. We want to thank Drew for sitting down with us, and we want to thank Dave Smith, Sports Information Director at Virginia Tech, for sending us those great pictures of Drew playing baseball. And if you want to see some more about this, including a cruel practical joke that Drew played on me, check out our website at WXYZ.com. Bill Spencer, Channel 7 Action News.